Okay, now we're getting down and dirty. Now we're getting into ACX audio submission requirements. Oh boy. So all this stuff here, this craziness, is everything we have to do. Now, I can already tell you, overall sound and formatting, so all this stuff is kind of a given. Yes, we need to do these things. And I did not talk about these. I talk about them in other parts of the course here, but the retail sample, 1 in 5 minutes. So I can put this link here where my ACX, submission requirements, whatever. Here's the 1/2 to 1 second, the 1 to 5 seconds at the end. You got to say chapter 2 if it's chapter 2. Okay, these is the nastiness here. This is the killer. So this one is the worst. And right here is, frankly, the main reason I stopped with Audacity, because I was just struggling to make this happen. And to make it happen, it was what I thought was really making the audio less quality. So then there's this peak value thing, and there's noise floor. So noise floor, and that also helps with the, that's where the room tone thing comes in. Okay. So in here, 192 and 44.1 constant bit rate. All right. So how do we do that? Now, Reaper can kind of make all this happen. It's just apparently even more complex. So let's not make it complex. There is a product out there called Auphonic. Now these guys are doing, in fact, here, intelligent leveler, loudness normalization. So what they do is basically they fix everything so that it works for ACX. I mean, they do radio shows, broadcasters, movies, screencasts, podcasts, whatever. So they've got some awesome services for audio. And we're going to use it to make our audio work for ACX. Now, pricing, it's free for up to 2 hours. So if your book is really long, and you're here, okay, well then maybe it's going to cost you, $11 or €9. Okay. So, and that's a one-time, that's a monthly, is it monthly? Yeah, per month. So I can't remember if you got to sign up for a monthly thing or whatnot, or you can just do it per month or whatever, but check this out and see if you want to do that. So this is one option, and I'm trying to give you the most, low cost free options here. So for 2 hours, at least we could see if this works. And remember, I'm always recommending start off with a short story, start off with an article, just do something, see if you even want to be recording your audiobooks. What are we in, like lesson 809 here, right? This stuff is not easy. It's not necessarily straightforward. Look at all these steps. But what I love is you have total control, and we get to do what we want. We have the files. It's our own voice. It's probably, if it's nonfiction especially, so blah, blah, blah. So what they also have here are desktop apps. And this one here, Auphonic Leveler Batch Processor. When were you thinking, you know what I was thinking I'd like today? It's not an ice cream. No. It's not, I don't want to go to Paris for the weekend. I want to get the Auphonic Leveler Batch Processor. That's my big dream. So if you get this thing, here was the pricing on this thing is... So basically, then you have a downloaded program. Here you go. So £69 or $89, right? But then it's yours forever, one-time cost. You're good, right? And this is so for like personal and non-commercial use. But I think it's the single user. You're like one author. So that's what I have, right? And here you drag your files, and I'll do this in the next video. But I wanted to do the freebie version first to show you just sort of that this works. Okay. So here, I logged in. I think you probably need to make an account. That's free, of course. Go in here. Let's make a new production. Or you know what? I already made a production. So pretend I clicked on new production. Then we have a production. All right, let's complete our production. So we have here's our production. So it's online, right? Kind of cool. And there's all this stuff that we get to do. And by the way, this intro, outro, this is awesome. If you're doing a podcast, for example, you plop in your intro, you plop in your outro, and you just modified your file. Here's your main file is the bulk of your interview or whatever, your podcast. And then intro, outro, boom, boom. Pretty cool, right? So what we need to do, let's choose a file. And I'm going to go choose some chapter from my Auphonic here, Reaper Exports. Okay, it's my sour cream Reaper export. I'm just going to pick one. So I'm actually not going to use this in my final. I'm just showing you the free way to do it because I want to use, I have the desktop version. I've paid the $89. I have the desktop. But for example's sake and to show you how this is possible, I just uploaded the file 7, chapter 3. Okay. Now I don't want an intro, outro, basic metadata. I'm not going to change any of this stuff, although it's super cool, but we don't need anything here. Metadata, don't need any of that. Chapter marks, output files. Here we go. So this is where it gets interesting. This is what we want to do. We want to do the Wave 24-bit, and we do want Wave again because for our next step, we're going to test, and the testing tool uses Wave. We don't have a choice here, so I guess we're doing that. I'm not going to give it a file name change. It is Wave. I am going to do mono, and I'm not going to split chapters. Okay? There we go. Speech recognition. No, I don't know. Publishing, no. Audio, okay, here we go. This is the good stuff. So this is what this is why we're here. Because it's going to level out, it's going to adapt and level. So instead of all the peaks and valleys to craziness, it's going to help that. It's going to help the loudness. Now this loudness target, here we go. This is the number that ACX wants us to do. So if you do here, -20 LUFUS, whatever that means, there you go. That's what you want. Filtering, noise and hum reduction. And then this reduction amount, we want this 3 dB. Remember, back over here, it's no higher than that. So that's the sort of range, the -3. We want the 3. Okay? So there we go. That's all we need to do. Now I'm going to do start. Oh, did it say, like, where's this file going? Output file. What is this add output file? I don't know. Start production. You have credits of 2 hours. Great. This is going to use whatever, a few minutes of it. Start production. All right. So, of course, this thing's only 1 minute long. Oh, I didn't give it a title. Fine. Our servers are working. We will send you a notification when production is finished. Okay, we just did it. So we just did one file. And again, under the 2 hours. So, you know, here we go. So it finished production. We can listen. Okay, now sounds good to me. Now, look at that. There's our file. Okay, so I can download the file. I downloaded the file, and now I've got a Wave file. That's it. So we just use Auphonic to make, we use the free version of Auphonic on auphonic.com to change up our file. Here's show stats. So here's a perfect example. Program loudness. Now, my thing was this -29. Well, that doesn't cut it. Output is -20. Remember, we need it to be less than -23. Loudness, what's the other one? The gain, filtering, noise hum reduction 3. Okay, so it's doing what it needs to do. And we're done. So I download the file, and now I would put that in my collection, and then the next step is we're going to test it. There is like a specific and free test we could do to make sure it really passes all of the ACX requirements. So there we go. We have an Auphonic file, and we're ready to roll to the next step. And now I'm going to go do a video to show you what the desktop version does, which is basically the same thing. It's just that I can do all my files at the same time. All right.